Hi, I'm Markku, Wilenius, the traveling futurist. This time we're talking about corporate social responsibility. What is that? Think about a company that makes an advertisement on the top page of New York Times in Black Friday saying, "Don't buy this jacket." The company was Patagonia around 10 years ago, and that came a very legendary advertisement because they wanted to make a point. Don't just buy, but buy with conscience. Be reflective. What do you buy and what do you don't buy? And if you don't need to buy, it's better that you don't buy. That was part of Patagonia's corporate social responsibility strategy, where they wanted to reach out to the consumers. And a very good example of how companies today sees their role, because it's not anymore about creating the share value for the shareholders. It's about what is the overall impact of your business to the society and to the environment. So the CSR approach and the score has been developed just because before that there wasn't any kind of a idea of the metrics. How do you define other goals of the company besides those business goals that we know well what they are: profits, margin, revenue, all that. But today, companies in America as well as in elsewhere, they have realized that this is not enough. And this is not enough because the consumers start to think that this is not enough. So that's why the companies that want to show the awareness of this issue, they are producing usually these annual reports of their actions on that front. And this is a pretty new thing. If you look at the statistics in America, only in 2011 there was 20% of the S&P 500 companies that were reporting. Today, the number is much over 90%. So in 10 years, this whole ideology was sweeping over United States, saying that you better be on this boat. You better be thinking how your company is not only running business, but also meeting some of the social and societal goals that we as nations are putting. And how do you also deal with the fact that we are in environmental crisis? We have destructed our nature in most part of the world. According to United Nations statistics, most of the current ecosystems in the world has been already badly damaged. So this damage is real. And it's not the role of the government only to do the business of kind of redirecting our activities. It's as much of the responsibility of the businesses and of course us as individual citizens. But companies have a critical role here. Companies can be really on the forefront. And this is not only to do the right thing, this is also because they need it for their own good, for their own long-term existence and development as an organization. And that's why today we see increasingly companies using this approach of finding the concrete targets inside the company, how to deal with the environment, how to reduce emissions, pollutions of all kinds, how to enhance the circularity, how to deal with the issue of underpaid workers. So many of our companies today are not producing in the countries where they locate, but they are actually producing it somewhere in the developing part of the world. And they need to be looking at those conditions in which this production takes place. And this was not so much case just 10 years ago, but today there is a growing awareness that company can only be a decent business if they really take care that the factories that are run, that they are clean, well working, and that the workers get sufficiently compensated, and so forth and so forth. So this has created a totally new world. And as I said, those companies that started this whole thing long time ago, like Patagonia, have now shown the others the way how to deal with that. I'm taking this example of the Patagonia because some of my research in the past has actually focused on understanding how this extraordinary business was created. And it was created already back in 1970s on the basis that while they are producing outdoor apparel, different gadgets and garments, when you go out to the nature, this needs to also to be a kind of an educational process where you actually teach the consumer how to manage better the way that you are using their products and how they can prolong the lifetime. Because what still happens today dramatically, that we are leaving those garments we buy all too soon and they go to the wastelands. Actually, that amount of the time that the single garments are used has been dropping down, which is the showcase of how crazy our societies have become. This kind of a consumerism has actually swallowed us, and now we need to get out of there to understand that every act of consumerism is a political act which has a significance for the society, and for the companies that means even more so. The second aspect is that we know by now that the best of the companies today take very good care of sharing their values with their own employees, but also those customers that they want to relate to. So to increase the engagement, you need to build a kind of a purpose around the company that matches these values that people inside the company and outside the company cherish. So, which again means that, well, the more you can ignite people's interest and inspiration and passion inside those companies as a part of how they develop the processes and the products of the company, the more it actually means good for the company itself. And as said, it's really the company's role in this world to start to take a serious look how we are dealing with the environment and nature. In the previous time, because it was not valued economically, wastes were dumped and we didn't look what happened to all of that pollution and all of that waste. That was a kind of a side product of our production processes. But today we are waking up in a very different kind of reality. It's time for us to take care of the nature. Nature is not going to take any more care of us. We need to take care of the nature. And every company, in whatever business they are, they need to be a part of that. And that is not easy when we have this background that we have steered and put our metrics in the companies around this simple, usually material and business growth, and that's all there is. So if there is the whole steering process that only has single-mindedly a target of making more business, bringing in more money, this is exactly what's going to happen. And as we know now, that's not what we should be striving for if we take seriously into account all those social and environmental aspects of our businesses. So in the future, I believe that the real competitive edge of the companies comes actually out of acknowledging and understanding how important aspect of any business development, or more further, sort of a strategic goals. And the best of the businesses will do that very rigorously and see that they are always on the forefront for this type of a new environmentalism that needs to be built into the company, as well as this new way of understanding the social and societal goods as a part of companies' strategies and development. And if this is true what I say, then we're gonna see even more radical change that we have seen now in the last 10 years in corporate America, as well as in everywhere in the world, where they start to rival who are the ones that are more progressive on these fronts. And it's gonna be very interesting to see. Subscribe to my channel and learn more about the sustainability aspect of the future.